straightening up stuff and doing stuff and realize,
Oh,
oh,
absolutely. I think all of us were rushing behind on stuff today. Good. That means you
Yes,
all are being productive.
we were
Everybody's
being,
being productive.
yeah.
That's a
yes,
good
yes.
thing.
Have we heard for?
Yeah, they should be coming
Have
on
we heard?
momentarily.
All right, Sister Shireen. Very
Yeah,
good.
I see
Very good.
we're live. So by the time we really get this party started, they should be up.
All right. Praise be to Allah. Well, I am going to make sure we're live YouTube, and we're going to go ahead and do our
Oh,
intros. If
we're live.
everybody,
We're live. We're live.
we are live.
Yeah.
We are live on YouTube. Brother Jahi, can you go ahead and share that YouTube link for me on our Facebook? To Allah. Well, I am going to and let me mute this. All right. So I've learned something new when we are live on. Okay. Yeah, when we are live on Zoom, I have to mute live on YouTube because it plays right along with us as we're going. So I'm hearing all these different noises. I'm like, wait a minute, where is that coming from? All right.
Technology.
Yes. Technology indeed. Well, as soon as Brother Jahi come back on the line, we are going to get started.
Go ahead and get started. It's going to take a minute.
It's going to take a minute for you to come back in?
Yes, go ahead and get started.
Well, because you up first, so I'll pause and wait on you until you get situated. Since Sister Shireen is not in, I'm going to do my little intro, then I'm bringing you up. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I could bring Sister Samaya up.
Oh, really?
That's right.
That's okay. Yeah, look, Sister Samaya, like, really?
She's like, really?
Praise be to Allah. Let me do one more thing, and then we are going live. We are going live. One little last little thing here. All right. Thought I had my printout here. Oh, you know what? I can do it from this. No problemo. We can get started. All righty. Here we go. All right. I am pressing record. We are starting right now. Check mic 1 2 1 2. Welcome, listening podcasters, radio land, Facebook land, YouTube land. This is your sister Sandy Buford Muhammad coming to you live with Mind Money Matters Radio podcast. Oh, wow. We have had a phenomenal month of education. We are continuing on this month. Welcome to Master the Science of Business Media Networks with Mind and Money Matters radio show. We represent the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, and it is designed to increase business ownership and entrepreneurship. We are here and we say and offer solutions that recognizes the need to provide science of business to business owners and those aspiring to do business full-time, part-time, on the side. We have coined the phrase sidepreneur. So if you hear anybody using that phrase, they heard it here first. In The Message to the Black Man by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he teaches us that economic blueprint. And you can read that on page 174 of Message to the Black Man. And we have been told and shared in Message to the Black Man that there are specific things that we have not been taught. And those specific things that we have not been taught is the science of mating, the science of warfare, the science of wealth, the science of education, the science of reproduction, the science of having and doing for yourself. So we here at Mind and Money Matters radio show speak specifically on those points so you and I can create a better life for ourselves, a better life for our children, and generational wealth. I will bring up first on the microphone our beloved sister who has been here with us the entire month of July, sharing and helping us to have a better insight and a better understanding on what the Ministry of Education is. It is I would say one of the top three areas that we have to understand, because the Ministry of Education covers not just schooling, it is educating yourself so that you can be a better person for yourself, your community, your family. And we thank her so much for joining us. Our beloved Sister Samia has reared 9 children, right, Sister Samia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh my goodness, 9 children. When you get past 2, we just start bowing down to you because my God, 9 children, and she has successfully assisted, prodded, kicked, threatened with a bat, six young men to complete Morehouse College. There's a secret to that. It has to be a secret. And I'm sure she figured that out. By the time she got to number 2, it's like, okay, I think I got this thing down pat. So all the rest of y'all, you better watch because it's going to be the same and it can be easier for you or not. It's your choice. Right, Sister Samia?
Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. She actually has her own podcast, which we are so grateful for her. She actually took a hiatus on while she assisted us here with the month of education. So we definitely want to support Sister Samia. We definitely want to support Sister Samia in her efforts with her program as well, and we'll make sure that she leave that information so that we can continue on supporting her in the month of August. So Sister Samia, we love you, we thank you, and we appreciate you being here on the show with us. Please welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So share with us a little bit about what it is that you've committed your cause to, your purpose to, at this phase of your life, having now reared all of your children. Your children are grown now, and you see fit to give back to our babies. So share with us a little bit of what it is that you're doing now, and share with us a little bit of how you got into this area of it's more than a career, it's a life mission. So share a little bit about that with us, and then we'll bring our beloved brother Jahi up.
Okay, yes. All right. So I remember being in 5th grade and I was part of a future teachers club. Okay. Then when I went to college, I wanted to teach phys ed because that's what I enjoyed in high school. Then when I got there, I found out because I have what they call lazy eye, and it was not 100% correctable by lenses. I couldn't even take gym, much less major in it. So I had to pick another venue. So I picked education. And when at Northeastern University, as I sat in the classes that was supposedly preparing me to teach our children, I'm like, wait a minute, this stuff didn't work for us. So why would I turn around and teach it to other people? So in the interim, I was introduced through my roommate to Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. And when I was sitting in the audience listening to him talking about reciting the actual facts, I was taking earth science. And I said, I don't know any of this, so this makes no sense. But anyway, that prompted me to get involved with the nation, and I wanted to go back to Muhammad University as a student. And the minister said, no, you can't go backwards. So get involved with, the student teaching. So that's what I started. And then after 75, we tried to reinstate the Muhammad University at Woody Crest, which is a building that we had bought to expand the then University of Islam. And it was the Black Family Day proceeds in the minister's book, 7 Speeches, that helped us to buy this beautiful former orphanage that turned out to be our school. So we started the Woody Crest daycare and preschool. And at one point I had 25 4-year-olds by myself. And I
Wow.
still I didn't have a assistant teacher or anything, but I taught them that they needed to be disciplined. And what I told them was, you have your systems of your body, and your brain is attached to all of your nerves and muscles. And if your brain does not tell your finger to move, it won't move. So that's how I got them to learn how to sit still. So quick story, one day I had gone downstairs because we didn't have cell phones, you didn't have intercoms, all this. I had to go get a phone call. And I told them, I said, I'm leaving, put your hands on your desk and I'll be back. I'm thinking I'm coming right back. So anyway, I get back upstairs maybe about 5-10 minutes later, and the brother who was the then imam of the mosque at that time, he says, oh, I was looking for you. Where are your students? I said, what? He said, where are your students? I said, they're in the classroom. He said, there can't be any children back there because it's too quiet. I'm like, uh-oh, well, I'm in trouble because nobody. So we go back to the classroom and they were all sitting just the way I left them with their hands folding their feet on the floor. He was amazed. So anyway, so from there, I ended up, when we moved down to, then we homeschooled for a while with a couple of brothers and sisters in New York. It was the 3 families, and each of us had different subjects. I did English and literature and things, and our brother did the math and the science, and the sister did history. So we went from house to house and did that. Then when we came down here, it was decided that they would start MUI, and officially I was supposed to be just collecting the monies and things like that. But then I ended up being the directress, and I've been doing that now for 15 years. So that's
How
where
long has it been?
Huh?
How long has it been?
15 years.
It's been 15 years already?
Yes.
Wow. I remember it, man, wow. That's scary when you think about it. When you say it like that, I remember. Oh my God, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah. So and every child that started with us in that time has already graduated from high school. Right. So anyway, so that's how I became the directors of Muhammad University, student directors of Muhammad University Islam Atlanta. And my goal is to keep on until I want to see us in our own space, in a beautiful edifice that is worthy of Muhammad University. So that's my goal. That once we get that done, then I can step back and give it to somebody else. But I really want to see us do that. Have reestablished, because when Minister Rahman was here, he had 2 schools.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And I really, as a tribute to him, if nothing else, I want to be able to do that here in Atlanta. Also, the brother who was the director, Director Clark, who was over Muhammad Mosque number 7 MUI, just passed away on Saturday. So,
oh, may Allah be pleased. Wow. Okay.
This show to him because he was he
Yes.
took MUI to such great heights that their first graduating class, all of the brothers that graduated went to Tuskegee University.
Went to where?
Tuskegee, right? And they went
wow.
with the and they took the courses that the messenger said we needed, which was engineering and all those type of things. But what happened by the time they graduated, the nation was no longer the way it was. So they never got a chance to really just jump into what they had gone to school for. So I just thank Allah for Director Clark and all that he did for all of the students. We had a fundraiser for him about 4 or 5 years ago because he was very sick then, but Allah blessed him with another 5 years. So that was a blessing.
Oh, praises due to Allah. Please give us his full name because we are dedicating this show to our dear brother who made a tremendous impact. I never met him, didn't know him, but we all are seeing the results of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad put in place, and people like him and like you and so many others who are dedicating themselves to this ministry of education, albeit at one point we may not have thought about it as a ministry, but it definitely is. It is a calling. Education is a calling. So we commend all of you who take that mantle and are responsible for shaping the minds and molding the minds of initially the little ones who grow up to be big ones. Right. Yeah. So what's the brother saying?
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us in 1972 through Minister Farrakhan, because Minister Farrakhan was such a wonderful person that he would go sit at the messenger's table once a month, and he would take information given to him by the dear Holy Apostle, first share it with his ministers, then share it with the teachers, then share it with the believers. So
wow.
Straight words from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad every month from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in one of those talks, the messenger said he wanted the children to walk Islam into the house to make sure that their parents were staying on the mustaqim, on the right path. So the students, we were to teach the students so they could walk the Islam into the house. So that's what we still do today.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm thinking about
I know his name became Imam Sadiq. I don't remember what his first name is. I'm scrolling. I'm gonna find it before the program's over. But we just know him as Director Clark X. Everybody knew him by that.
Director Clark X.
Yes, he was X at the time.
Only one X.
Yes, Director Clark. I don't think there was any other.
First one. Wow. Because New York. Names like that. You had James 137X, Robert.
You had James 2C45, 245 Jameses.
Wow.
and James, William, John, all those common names. We got up to 2C whatever.
Everybody common, right?
Yes.
Right. So they were well into the 200s. Okay.
Yeah, so he was Clark X. Yeah. I'm looking for that.
Okay, the first. Okay. Wonderful. The first Clark. All right. The Sister Samia, I haven't asked you this in all the years that you've been hosting with us, co-hosting the Ministry of Education. But have you written a book? Considered writing a book? And when is your book coming out?
So you're starting trouble. That's what my daughter said to me when she came in. She said, "Okay, mommy, you're supposed to be starting on this book." I've had people asked me, when are you going to write this book, for years and years and years. I'm going to do that. I have to get this book out this year because everybody keeps saying, so I'm thinking of calling it the book because people keep saying, when are you going to write the book? So, but anyway, yes, inshallah, I would like to do several books. One, of course, my life story and then the story of how you raise children And I think that's very much needed from what I'm seeing in our communities. We've lost the whole will to parent, and then the how to parent is really not there. So I like to share that, but I also want to do the story of my husband and I's journey, and I wanted to, because it's to death do you part, so I want to kind of deal with that too.
Yes, ma'am.
And talk about how you
absolutely
move on when something like that happens in your life. So yes, inshallah, I will be writing.
Wow. We're looking forward to it. Can we put a projected date on that?
No.
No. She said no.
Can we say like Savior's Day 2020? So can we go ahead and put that out so those that are listening could be prepared for Detroit?
Maybe
the nickels and dimes to get the book. Maybe a Holiday of Atonement 2020. Okay. All right.
Maybe a Day of Atonement. When are you writing this book? But you know what it is for me to write, and I always get the inspiration from Allah. And I've had people say, I need you to write this article. And I'm like, okay, I'm writing it, but I can't write it until I know that Allah has given me something to give people, because I don't like just blabbing. So a lot of times I'll wake up in the middle of the night. So I've learned to have a pad and pencil in my bed, because what Allah gives you in the middle of the night, if you don't write it down, you wake up in the morning, it's not coming back. So I tend to write it down.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah. They say, oh, that's wonderful. Like, yeah, that's from Allah. But anyway, yes, inshallah, I will get this book written. I've cleared a spot where I'm going to do my creative stuff as opposed to my school stuff. So hopefully that'll help.
Right. Okay. I think that's a good direction. One of the questions I have for you, because we're so enthralled about the acclaim that you have in, number one, rearing 9 children and 6 boys. All 6 of your sons are college graduates.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in our community, that's an anomaly.
Yes.
So and we're talking about, there are generations, but to have 6 Black men in the late 20th century all matriculate through school, go to college, and graduate.
Right.
And go to a prestigious, historically Black university and graduate. That is absolutely phenomenal. And a daughter to matriculate to a historically Black college and university and graduate.
Right.
Did you, like Sister Sandy said initially, did you hold a bat up against their head and threaten each one of them when it was their turn? What was the seed that was planted that made each one of them want to complete that particular mission?
Well, their father, at the age of 46, went to college.
Oh, praise to God. I didn't know that. Okay.
He went to Malcolm King College, and he said he wanted them to know that was what they must do, go to college. And that's why he did it. So what the funny part about that was, he went to college and then he got busy with, just working and stuff. He was eligible to graduate and didn't know it. The way he ended up graduating, though, was because a friend of his that worked on the job that he worked on came by the car, and my husband's talking to him. He said, where you been, man? He said, well, I went and took this ultrasound course down at NYU. He said, man, and I've doubled my salary. So my husband goes, really? Oh, I think I want to try that. So you know how men do. They gonna try it. That was it. That was it for him. That was it. So I said, okay, the next day, did you call and the number the brother gave you? So he, after a couple of days of doing that, he called, and then he said, well, I have to have a college degree in order to get this course, just take this course. So I said, okay, well, weren't you going to Malcolm King? He said, yeah. So anyway, I called down to Malcolm King, And they go, yeah, he's eligible to graduate. Not only that, he's on the honor roll. He knew none of this.
Wow.
So we got him to do all the paperwork and stuff. And he had his graduation, and they were all there except for the last two. They were there at the graduation. And that was one of the things that inspired them to go to college. Also, Talib, the oldest one, he was a test, the test run, right? So, he went and he made it, and then his brother went. And so when Talib got ready to go to Morehouse, he wanted to be, the program that he and his two immediately younger brothers were in was called the Macy Medical Science Honors Program. This Jewish guy gave money to DeWitt Clinton High School and another school because he said there were not enough Black doctors. So the whole goal of the program is to get Black men and women to go to school to become doctors. Okay, comes time to graduate, they want all of them to, of course, to go to Harvard and Princeton and this place and that place. So Talib and I did the research. Morehouse, Xavier, Howard were graduating Black young people who were going into medical school. Mm-hmm. So we picked Morehouse and Xavier, and we picked the three. So he applied to all three. So
what about Fisk? No, Meharry. I was thinking Meharry.
No, Meharry is a medical school. So you gotta
okay, gotcha. Undergrad first and then to Meharry. Right. Gotcha.
So anyway, when his counselor found out that he was the colleges he picked, the head of the program calls me. It's Safir. Do you know what the colleges your son picked? I'm like, yeah, we sat down, we picked them together. What's the problem? Well, he didn't pick Harvard or Princeton, or he picked all of these Black. I said, excuse me. I said, our research says that it's 10-1 in terms of how many Black people are coming out of these Black schools as opposed to Harvard and Princeton and all that. So we're going to go where he can be successful.
The probability of graduating is higher.
Yes. Okay. So that's how that happened. And because his auntie's brother was Bob Law, he ended up on a radio show, and he ended up talking to the dean of admissions at the time. And so anyway, he got into Morehouse. So everybody else kind of followed suit because that was it. Now I know for a fact, every one of them at some point in time hated the fact that they were at Morehouse. And it's usually around here. They're tired of school now. I don't want to be here. Okay, right, fine. But let them graduate, right? They graduate. Then it's Morehouse. So, so my third son, when he was applying, he applied to Morehouse. That was it. So I get a call.
That was it. No other school.
No, I get a call from the principal. It's a principal, but they were in the same school, same high school. He said, Mr. Fear, I have a problem. Your son only applied to Morehouse. I said, yeah, what's the problem? He said, well, what if he doesn't get in? I said, then he'll apply to a different school. What's the problem? So he's like, but nobody does that. Everybody, like, hey, the boy went, that's fine. So that very day, I go to the mailbox and there's this big envelope that says Morehouse College on it. It's got this gold certificate. You've been accepted to Morehouse College. So I tell him, thank you to the principal. So the principal called me. He said, Miss Sophia, I'm not going to question you ever again.
I love it.
So that's how they all got in. Now, getting them out, you have to really explain to them that it's not the end of the world when they fail a class, that you started this and you need to finish. So at one point, Talib was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm quitting. I said, Talib, you still have student loans, son. So if you quit this and don't finish, you gotta pay student loans. So I would think that you go ahead and finish this, and then, so you will never have to look back and say, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Go ahead and do it. But mommy is plus you and daddy. I'm like, hey, don't worry about that. Go do what you got to do. So It took him a longer time than the rest of them, because he was majoring in bio, and at Morehouse College, that's one of the hardest. That and mathematics, those are two of the hardest courses to get out of. You can get in them, getting out's a whole nother situation.
Right.
Because what Morehouse does not do, they do not let you get a D and think that you did something great. No, if you get a D, you taking that course over again.
Yes.
So anyway, and then he, like many others, we found out later on, had to take cell biology several times. So we went to an induction, because they have this big induction ceremony, and my fourth son was going in, and the brother that was talking said, Morehouse is about struggle. He said, and you've never struggled until you had to take cell biology for the third time. So of course Talib jumped. So he wasn't the only one. So, but it is, you have to be understanding. You have to push them and not let them give up. And you're definitely going to be broke, because as time went on, the books got more expensive, whereas Talib's books were like $100. Now they're $200, they're $300,
right.
And they won't let you use the book that your brother used. So it got very, we were always, I guess, college poor. Like, your house broke, we college broke.
That's a great hustle right there. And what I found out with the math books, in the third edition, the difference between the third edition and the fifth edition, it was the same information, but let's say algorithms were in chapter 5 in the third edition. In the fifth edition, it's chapter 9.
Right.
The problems that were the even number problems are now the odd number problems.
Right.
So, you figure a way.
Yeah. So, and that's about all the differences. Yeah. So, but anyway, and then of course, Morehouse is a big fraternity, and wherever you go, being a Morehouse man, you have an advantage, because there's always a Morehouse man somewhere to help you out.
Somewhere in the cut.
There's always some brother, my Morehouse brother over here does, so.
Right.
They go back, and when, every time there's a new induction. So now our grandson is getting ready to go into his junior year at Morehouse. So we're continuing.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
Oh, praise. Now, Brother Jahi, you've been doing a lot of talking. We ain't even introduced you yet. And I'm like, look, how he up here doing the interview?
I think our 7 or 8 guests, visitors, know who all of us are.
Excuse me, you mean 700 or 800 guests? Everybody don't know who you are.
No, see, the beauty of not. Go ahead. All right, I won't deny you.
Our beautiful guest, Sister Shireen, and Brother Wahid has joined us, so I'll let you bring her on, Brother Jahi. But I would like to say, oh goodness, you have been listening to our beloved brother. He's the co-host of My Money Matters Radio. He is a philanthropist. I gotta add that word to your you accept that? Absolutely, because if you've ever heard of Hosea Helps, if you ever see an event going on with Hosea Helps, you will for surely see his face. And sometimes it is just him doing his philanthropy. It is him just volunteering his services because he wants our beloved brother and sister, the proprietors, Mr. O. Malani and Mrs. O. Malani, to be safe, and making sure that your stay, your visit to any event is one of safety, so that you can come and feel secure. This is when you see our brother. I have nicknamed him, as Sister Shireen always say, as a logo file. I never forget the first time I said that. We were in a meeting over the weekend, and I said, I know what you are. You a logo file. He was like, hold on, Sister Sandy, before I say, okay, I don't know what that is. And he is, I called you a logo file. He was like, well, all the other words that I know with file at the end ain't too good. So what is that? And he is indeed a lover of words. He is the author of The Proper, wait, let me get it. The proper, no, not that one. That's my daddy's, the 3 Ps. I ain't gonna say that one. Oh goodness, Brother Jahi, you gotta, okay, I can't believe it. Oh, the unpropitious Willa. Okay, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. You will see him speaking at events. You will see him at leadership conferences, doing what it is that he does best. He is the one and the only Mr. Communicator, Jahi Muhammad.
Salaam Alaikum. Thank you, Sister Sandy, for that. Yes, it is what Sister Sandy was talking about is our flagship presentation called The 9 Malignant Symptoms of Unpropitious Willa. I think that's what she was trying to. And we do have a piece that should be coming out sometime within the next 2 or 3 years.
No, you can't take 3 years if I got to take less than 3 years.
You got to take less, right. And see, Sandy is cracking up because, you know, we've been working on this piece for about 2 years, 3 years. Okay. And one of our guests at the beginning of the month, Barrett Hanson, he is one of the co-authors. We started that presentation 22 years ago. Good Lord. Wow. 22 years ago, we did that. We started that presentation, The 9 Malignant Symptoms of Unpropitious Willa. And Sister Shireen and Sister Sandy and I have expounded upon it. So you'll be hearing more about that. But we have our illustrious special guest on tonight, as well as our co-host, Sister Shireen Muhammad. So got to get this. This is the latest one, 43, yes. Volume number 38, issue number 43. This is a must-have in your reading repertoire. It is Truth, Warning, and Guidance. Excerpts from the lecture that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did on July the 21st. So go to noi.org and you can go to the webcast archives and pull up this lecture. If you don't do anything else, you know, let me put it like this. If you listen to the news a lot, a lot of Black people and Hispanic and other cultures are super upset, discombobulated because they don't understand the President of the United States. To ease your mind, only thing you have to do is listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, listen to the divine guidance that he's giving us, and you will let not your heart be troubled. I think that's a scripture in the Bible. Let not your heart be troubled. If you listen to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has to say about your president, about those that are his puppeteers, about the powers that be of this world, and the real power, which is Allah, the Creator, then you will not be troubled by the things that you see this guy doing and others are doing. Do that. Just listen to the lecture. It would ease your troubled heart. I'm listening. You know what's so funny? Let me say this real quick. The president did this tweet over the weekend talking about what's the brother's name? Elijah Cummings, Congressman Elijah Cummings, out of the Baltimore area. And he said some things that got people all upset. Now, I hope my brothers and sisters in Baltimore don't get upset at me. I like Baltimore. I spent a lot of time in Baltimore. There are parts of Baltimore that are absolutely beautiful. Then there are parts of Baltimore that we all know Baltimore is not the most progressive when it comes to Black people, right? So they're getting upset because the president told Elijah Cummings, who is a Black congressman, go back to your own district and concern yourself with getting more resources for your people. Okay, that's exactly what he should do. Now that the president has given him that, so the counter has been, well, his district, the district he represents, is one of the more wealthy districts in that area. Okay, that's beautiful. But what about the rest of the area?
Right.
What about the rest of the area? And then also to that note, you notice how President Trump will talk about everybody. For whatever reason, Elijah Cummings got under his skin. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has spoken directly to the president of his cabinet numerous times. They've never uttered one word about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. No clapback or nothing. No Twitter, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So if our representatives were smart, they would align themselves with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and see the power that's backing him, that they could get that same covering. That's what I want to say about that. I know it's a little bit off point, but it is educational. So Final Call, go to finalcalldigital.com, get your subscription, finalcalldigital.com, or if you're in the Atlanta area or any city in America that you're in, there is a Nation of Islam Muhammad Mosque in your city. And you can go by that mosque and or study group and pick up your latest copy of the Final Call newspaper. In addition to, no matter where you work, no matter where you go to school, there is an FOI, a Fruit of Islam, men who belong to Islam in North America, and or an MGT and GCC, Muslim Girls in Training, General Civilization class. There's a brother and sister that's close by, that's working with you, that's going to school with you. We're everywhere. So you just ask and say, I sure wish I had a Final Call, and watch a Final Call just appear out of nowhere. That's all you got to say. Look, like Candyman, just say Final Call, Final Call, Final Call. Say it 5 times. But instead of a boogeyman, the Final Call newspaper will appear. So the Final Call, make sure you get your copy. And also economicblueprint.org is almost the first of the month. So you know you're getting those checks coming in for our liberation. I think I mentioned this last week. What was it? ASPCA?
Yes.
The animal people, they raised $248 million last year. $248 million last year. And according to one of the sites that we researched, they served about 3,400 animals.
No, seriously?
Yes.
With that kind of money?
With that kind of money. Yes.
Wow.
You do the math. 248 million. So we know that with your and my 5 cents a day, 5 cents a day, 16 million of us, that would give us $291,200,000. So we can buy land. Look, y'all, Mississippi, my home state, is for sale.
Yes.
Allah is making some moves there in Mississippi where the farmers that are there now who are not us, they're ready to sell.
Yes.
So we can buy that land. That's fertile ground. Allah is positioning us to take over. All right. So I've said enough. Go to economicblueprint.org. If you want to truly be liberated, make your 5 cents a day, your 35 cents a week, your $1.40 a month, or your $18.20 a year contribution. Encourage everyone in your circle to do the same and watch us work. All right. So
Brother Jaheed,
yes,
I have the brother's name. His name is Muhammad Sadiq. That was what he changed it to. But back in the day, he was Brother Director Clark X.
Imam Muhammad Sadiq.
Yes.
Okay, so we definitely want to pay homage to our dear brother Clark, Director Clark X, who was the director of Muhammad University of Islam in New York City, who laid a tremendous foundation. May his family be comforted in his loss, who is now known as Imam Muhammad Sadiq. We thank him so much for the foundation that he helped to lay under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and under the direction of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as the minister of Muhammad Mosque number 7 in this time. And it's so appropriate, I think, because we are dealing with the ministry ministry of education, and he was definitely one of those unsung heroes who we definitely want to thank. Thank Allah. May Allah be pleased with his efforts. So without any further ado, I think that is a phrase. What is an ado? We've been parsing phrases. Without any further ado.
Ado.
Right. Ado. We have our co-host and super producer of Mind and Money Matters Live show and managing partner of Master the Science of Business Entities LLC, who is on location today. See, this is the dedication that we try to give in this program, is that in order to make it happen, we're willing to travel 9,000 miles to teach one under that spirit. So she is on location in Southwest Atlanta at a library that she just found out about yesterday, and with our special guest this evening, whose Sister Samia made sure she strongly suggested that if you don't have this brother on, there's going to be repercussions and consequences. So, so on the scene is the founder, the CEO of More Awareness Now, the creator of agrichild.com, which go to agrichild.com. That's AGRICHILD, agrichild.com, and make sure you sign up for the newsletter on that site. She's the creator of the characters that are coming out, focus on the children. Please welcome Sister Shireen Muhammad.
All praise is due to Allah. You know, if I had more money in my pocket, I would pay them even more to say all the wonderful things they say about me. Oh my goodness, if I could only live up to that. Praise is due to Allah. They are absolutely phenomenal. I have to tell you, y'all, you have got to have a team. You must put together a team for your businesses so that you can reach farther, so that you can make your brain, your mind, all that Allah has given to you to conceptualize and to concretize, you can make it even better.
Because there she go, y'all. She's been reading again.
Elijah Muhammad teaches us to pool our resources, to stop the wanton criticism, to get into businesses with those of like minds working together. And I am excited to be sitting beside, this brother is a wealth of knowledge. He has decades of experience dealing with teaching and training, and we're talking about the business of education. So I am looking so forward to just getting to that. As Brother Jahi said, you know, I am the author of several books and focusing on the children, and inshallah, I am making some kind of a difference. You know, this is all we want to do in the life that we have to live, is to make a difference in what utilizing what Allah has given to us. So I would just like to go right to the introduction of our dear brother, Brother Jahi. Would you like to do the honors?
Yes, I will. Two things I want to do real quick. I failed to mention in the introduction of Sister Shireen that very similar to Sister Samia, she is the backbone, if you will, to help two young Black men graduate from college. As a matter of fact, she has a program called Getting Them To, Through, and Beyond. So one of her sons is a Morehouse graduate, and the other son is a Clayton State University graduate. So again, these are young Black men in our midst who are college graduates with consciousness. That's another thing too, with consciousness. So I want to commend her for that. And we must hear too from Sister Sandy real quick, because she started the program and she got me and Sister Samia to talk, and then she disappeared. So we did not properly introduce our producer for this evening, the most high energy ergokinesiologist that we all know of, who definitely brings that energy of upliftment. Sister Sandy Buford Muhammad of Soul Wisdom International and Your Life Center. Sister Sandy.
Oh, Brother Jahi, I give you a big old hug right now. That I was not expecting. I'm so excited about to listen to Brother Wahid. I ain't got much to say today, y'all. I'm just excited. We are wrapping up this Ministry of Education Month with with phenomenal people that we've had. I mean, this show just keeps getting gooder and gooder. You know, I like making up words too, Brother Jahi. It keeps getting every year we have.
That's the South. That's the South Georgia. That's the South Georgia.
Okay, that's right. We can't hear you, Sister Shireen. Are you saying something? I can't hear you.
Hold on. Okay, so we are in the month of education, Sister Sandy. So gooder and gooder. I'm gonna have to get Sister Samia, because she teaches the babies the proper way.
Oh my God. Okay, so you know how the dictionary
into a sentence.
Hold on. So you know how the dictionary works, right?
Best and best.
Well, Sandy, it would have been better if you said good.
The dictionary said it actually becomes in the dictionary. So all we got to just keep using it and keep using it with the same definition. We've created a new word. No. Seriously, I'm saying we've been doing this. This is our 4th year, and every time we do this, it just gets more phenomenal every year. So I'm just grateful, y'all, for this year in the Ministry of Education. I'd like to just share one thing in my little segment, and I want to go right on back, throw it right back to Brother Jahi to bring on our guest. So I've been studying Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if anybody know about him. He's written several books, but I'm studying Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And one of the things that he specifically speak about is education, how we've trained our children that you have to get, forgive me, the hotline over here. What happens is you get the education. You think that education is to get you a good job. And so you get sucked into this vicious cycle of going to school, getting a job. And then your children just get sucked in this cycle of going to school, getting a job. And that is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. The science, one of the sciences that we have lost out in our current education system is we are not taught about finance. We are not talking about how to have more assets than we have liabilities. So I would encourage you, because this is Master the Science of Business, My Money Matters Radio, to get on the right side of money. That's what Mr. Kiyosaki talks about. The left side of money, you're always caught in a loop of working for someone, which will dictate your income. Work to getting to the right side of the money. Keep your 9 to 5, but do that sidepreneur thing that we do. If you have a secure 9 to 5, that's a good thing. Work with your sidepreneur thing, with your own business, to create your own generational wealth for your family, for your community, for building your legacy. So that's my little tidbit from today. I want to toss it back over to our beloved brother Jahi to bring on our guests.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. I'm going to do my little piece, but I want Sister Samia to come in, because she has some information as well about our dear brother that I think our audience definitely would like to know as we bring him on. I am honored that every time I have the opportunity to be in his presence. I first remember meeting him in person. It had to be right around 19 years ago. We were at an event in Stone Mountain, and he and 2 other brothers, Brother Errol and Brother Richard, they were together, and they were there to support Minister Akbar in an event that he was doing. And so I came across them. So we got to talking, and that first day I learned so much from these brothers. Some of the things they were teaching, because we just happened to start talking. But that's when I first met them. Then come to find out, listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in a lecture and he always talks about our dear brother because he was there at the very, very beginning of the rebuilding of the Nation of Islam. What you see today, wherever the minister moves, there's thousands of us that move with him. But in 1977, it was only two.
Mm-hmm.
It was only two. Minister Bernard Kushmir, who is now known as Minister Jabril Muhammad, and our dear brother Abdul Wahid Muhammad. And he was there when after Minister Bernard Kushmir and Minister Farrakhan finished talking, and he saw a look on Minister Farrakhan's face in 1977 and said, brother, I don't know what y'all about to get into, but count me in. Can you imagine that? Just think about that at that very beginning. And he has served our nation in various capacities, Assistant Supreme Captain, National Secretary and Business Manager, as well as being on the commission to look at the restructuring of the Nation of Islam and so many other capacities. We're fortunate now to have him and his wife here with us in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, we got some stars in Atlanta, so we are definitely fortunate to have him. So we get to see him more often now. It used to be only at like Savior's Day or Holy Day of Atonement or those types of events. And I must say, from me personally, over the years that I've personally known him, he is the apotheosis of what a Muslim should be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sister Samia, you can take it from there.
I have nothing else to add, but let's hear from this brother, because I was going to say the same thing you just did. The fact that he stepped out on faith and went with the minister to start this rebuilding, it showed his love for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the love for our nation, and he has not stopped. And he is not a spring chicken, as they say. He's an older brother. He's one of our dear elders, and he's moving
Still
on.
Soldier.
Can't keep him down. So we had to hear from him because he had an opportunity to hear him speak about two years ago, and it was just so phenomenal. I mean, yes, he had to come and educate from his viewpoint.
Yes, a very unique viewpoint.
Yes, very unique. So praise is due. So I'm glad he was able to make it.
Me too. So welcome to Mind and Money Matters live show during the Ministry of Education Month. Our dear brother Abdul Wahid Muhammad. Salaam Alaikum, sir.
Wa Alaikum Salaam, my dear brother Jahid. Thank you for such a beautiful presentation of what Allah blessed me to be successful of, but I had no control over. I just followed the instructions. So
all praises due to Allah. That gives us success, right? That's hey, everyone that's listening, if you're listening to this, write that down.
That's right.
That's one rule of success. Follow the instruction. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Look, he's starting off dropping jewels. So, Brother Wahid, let's start at the beginning. Where are you from originally, or where were you raised? And when did you begin your travel in the Nation of Islam?
Well, I was born at the same place you were born, on planet Earth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Planet Earth.
But I was physically, my mother gave birth to me in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri. And I take great honor in that word, because I don't know one great saint. That's St. Louis. Farrakhan. Farrakhan. But anyway, that was just a humor type joke there, but it's serious. So, but anyway, to answer your question, St. Louis, I was born in St. Louis, and I never did like St. Louis, but I had no choice. My mother chose to give birth to me at that particular city, but since that time, I've been living in just about every major city in America, and most of the cities and lots of cities, different countries and overseas.
Mm.
So I really started when I got out of the military and moved to San Francisco when I was invited, and the person that invited me to come to San Francisco was in the military with me, and he asked me had I ever been to California. I said no. He said, well, you come when you get out of the military, you come stay with me for free. I said okay. So I got out of the military, and then I went to San Francisco, and that's how I ended up in San Francisco, and that's why I heard the teachings about in San Francisco back in 1962. So that's where I got my humble beginning, and I was searching for I was in search of the miraculous, so to speak. So, but once I heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I don't know if you know this or not, but the person that brought me into the nation is a sister that she's still there, and is one of the few people that I've known before I came to the nation and after I came to the nation.
Wow.
Her name was Sister Betty. She was the secretary for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and now she's the secretary for the Honorable Minister Farrakhan in Phoenix.
Betty, yes.
Her mother was.
Oh yes. Okay.
Her mother was the one that brought me into the first meeting on a Wednesday night in the mosque number 26 in San Francisco.
Wow.
That's my humble beginning of coming into the mosque. And Jabril was the minister, but he was that particular time he was still serving time for not going to the army.
Okay.
And so when we got out of the army, we got out of the military. When he got out of prison, he came back to the ministry. So he that's why I brought up on the Brother Jabril.
Yes, sir.
Well, it wasn't Jabril then. It was Bernard Kushmir.
Bernard Kushmir, yes, sir. Okay, wonderful. Look at that.
So
Look at that
was
history. Then. Brothers and sisters, this is history. Wow.
Being educated.
That's right. Being educated, no doubt.
What did she say?
I say, we're being educated. Thank you.
Thank you.
What was your name before it was Wahid?
Beg pardon?
What was your name before it was Wahid?
Well, it depends on what time in my life I was using it.
Okay, when you went into the hotel room with the minister, what was your name then?
My name at that particular time was Wali Jafar Muhammad.
Okay.
And I got that name from a man named Muhammad out of Pakistan. He was selling. He was importing Islamic literature from Pakistan, and Brother Jabril was one of the people that knew him. And during our conversation, he asked me did I want to sell Holy Qurans. I said yes. So anyway, he started importing Holy Qurans, and I started selling them. Me and Jabril started selling Holy Quran, and Jabril and I stayed in the same apartment complex at that time. Jabril, Sister Betty, and her mother, and I stayed in the same apartment complex at that time. So that's how we got into that situation. There's a whole lot of details left out of all this. who that person was named Muhammad, and what they say was later on. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, getting back to Jabril, Bernard Kushmir, he's a trailblazer. That's what he was always called, a trailblazer.
Mm-hmm.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had sent him to the West Coast from New York to help with the resurrection of our people.
Mm-hmm.
He took over. He ended up in Northern California, and John Shabazz was in Southern California. So everything everything north of Los Angeles, Jabril had it. Everything south, Brother Abdullah had it. So Jabril
Brother
taught us how,
Wahid,
huh?
you know who we have on the line with us, right?
Oh,
Sister Sandy is Minister Abdullah's daughter.
yeah. When I saw her, I have something to say to her. Sister, I apologize for you and your mother for telling her I was coming by to see you, your mother and brother Abdullah, and I still haven't made it out there yet. Cause
No apology needed. You are a busy man, Brother Whitehead. So we understand. Clearly, we understand. No worries.
Man,
I
listen to
still
that
want to do
history.
that.
Listen to that history. Thank you for that, Brother Wahid. You say Minister Jabril or Minister Bernard Kushmer at the time, he had Northern California on lock, and Minister John Shabazz, who we know and love today as Minister Abdullah Muhammad, had Southern California on lock, doing the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Man. And then
correct.
Minister Farrakhan was on the East Coast, setting it on fire, along with a few others. Minister Rahman, we're talking mid 60s, right?
60s, early
Mid
60s, early 60s.
Early 60s. Okay. Let's see who was in Atlanta at the time. I think Minister Jeremiah Shabazz, I think, was in Atlanta at the time. Eventually went on to Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. So, Brother Wahid, one of the questions I've always wanted to ask you, and I forgive me for sounding a little bit nostalgic, but I'm always interested in like the beginning of things. So when Brother Bernard Kushmer called you up and say, come ride with me, I'm going to see somebody, did you know what his plans were with Minister Farrakhan at the time?
I'm glad you asked that question, because there's a point that we need to be cleared up for most believers, that the only thing they understand about me in September 1977, that I was there when Jabril came about the book, then Minister Farrakhan up to reestablish the minister's work and rebuild the minister's work. But that's not exactly how it happened.
Okay.
Mr. Farrakhan and I was there prior to that, because Mr. Farrakhan had left Wharf Dean Muhammad. He was no longer can promote him, so he went to told to Wharf Dean Muhammad that he was going to cannot continue to support him. So Wharf, I'm kind of fast forwarding the things, but I think Wharf Dean Muhammad asked him for a question would be on my mind if I was Wharf Dean Muhammad and knowing the position to meet the Honorable Minister Farrakhan had with the minister. I want to know, well, what are you going to do then? He used to be the representative for the messenger. What are you going to do now? He said, well, there's two things I know how to do. It was to teach and to perform. So I can't teach no more, because we're going to, but I'm going back to acting and music.
Right.
I'm going to. So Wharf Dean was happy and pleased with that. That was a lot orchestrated all of that. So he came to California. He called me and told me he was coming and to get it restructured, thinking about how he would.
Oh wow! Really? Okay.
Because he and I, back in 62, I came in to hear the message and start processing in San Francisco. But during the time I was processing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would be speaking in St. Louis. So St. Louis, that's where my parents is from. So I said, I want to leave San Francisco and go to St. Louis where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad be speaking. So I went to St. Louis to get my family to come here to Honorable Elijah Muhammad to speak.
Yes, sir.
And my sister, a couple of my sisters, my mother went. But when I met with my mother, she told me, this is kind of humorous here, but she told me that I was asking her about my brother, because my brother and I had never been close, because he was kind of academic, and I was kind of street academic. So we.
That's a new word. Brother Wahid coined that phrase. Street
I love it.
But anyway, that I was saying all that to build up to why Minister Farrakhan called me to come to California when he did, because when I went to St. Louis, I was telling my mother, asking about my brother. She said, I wish you'd go and help him out. I said, well, where is he? He said, he's in Boston. I said, what's he doing? He said, they're following the crazy Muslims.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So good thing she said it before
and she didn't know you were processing at the time.
No, she know. I had got around to tell her that. So I told her, oh, that's good. When I leave here, I'm going to see my brother. We hadn't talked in years.
Wow.
When I leave St. Louis, I'm going, and that's what I did. When I left St. Louis, I went to Boston where my brother was, and that's where Minister Farrakhan was.
Right.
And that's where I started. So I started processing in San Francisco, but I got my ex. I went to Boston under Minister Farrakhan.
What? Really? Okay.
So I processed with Jabril and got my ex Mr. Farrakhan. So the three of us been together since I've been in the nation. They've been
brothers and sisters, you heard it here on Mind and Money Matters Live show. Wow. Okay. All these years. I
was saying on to clear what you
yes,
thinking.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Most of the believers think about Brother Wahid. The only thing they can say about me is he was the first. The first what? I dropped out of the sky. That's the first or something. So, but anyway,
so you had that was roots. That was history. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you for clarifying that.
That whole operation started because of Minister Farrakhan came to California. He normally stayed at Jim Brown's house.
Right.
Because Jim Brown was very close throughout the years. But anyway, in 1977, on Sunset Boulevard, at the Continental Hyatt Hotel, on the 12th floor, that's where we were, because Minister Farrakhan was interviewing people for a potential movie that he was going to make in about Malcolm X. And we were using the restaurant in the hotel. They allowed us to use a private room in the back for the interviews. All the people come down to stars to be interviewed by the minister. So I was like the receptionist. I stood in front, and when people came out, I invited them back to where the minister was to interview. And this Friday morning, Brother Jabril showed up. Because I knew Brother Jabril. So I knew, when I saw Brother Jabril, I knew that whenever you see Brother Jabril, first thing you think about it, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's all he knows.
Wow. Wow.
So when I saw him, I said, oh, he must have been talking to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan before this, because they already had talked about him coming. So I took him back to the minister, told him that Jabril is here. They talked. So the minister told him, why would you have a cup of coffee with Wahid? I wasn't Wahid, I was Walid at that time. Jafar they called me. But anyway, so when he finished the interview, that we meet, So Jabril and I went to have a cup of coffee, which we never got, because Minister Farrakhan stopped when he was talking, and they went up. Well, as I was walking back to go to have a cup of coffee, Jabril says he had a little brown bag.
Mm.
So he said, we got to the table. He said, well, while we're waiting on the ministers to come, you take this right here, read this right here. He took a couple of pages out and gave me a couple of pages.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So got ready to sit down. I started putting it, when he gave me, in my bag. He said, no, you got to read it right now. So but the minister showed up right before that. So I never did get a chance to read it.
You didn't get a chance to read it. Okay.
So he put it back in the thing and gave it to the minister. So, they went upstairs and the bill told him, said, after you finish reading this, then we could talk. But the minister said, we could talk with Flower. And Bill, he insisted to read it first and then we talk.
Wow.
Bill had been looking for the minister for the timing wasn't right for him over 2 or 3 years. He was trying to find the minister to give him that package.
Right.
Timing wasn't right. So many things were going on at that time, but he finally got the point to give it to him, and that was on a Friday. Friday, he went to the room. The bill left, and I stayed around for a few minutes. Then I left and came back Saturday, but I'm not going into the details of that. Then he wasn't finished. Minister was still reading. So, but when I came back Sunday morning, I called myself being a on time, on the spot FOI for security for the minister. Jabril got there before me, and they were already into what they were doing. And when I saw them, they were just lit up like a. So when I was knocking on the door, I saw them. I said, "Well, whatever y'all doing, I'm with you."
Oh, praise is due to Allah. You know what comes to my mind? You know what comes to my mind when I hear that?
What's that?
He got the book on a Friday.
Yes,
Resurrection Sunday.
That's right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Oh
yes.
my God,
I
that
think
gives me chills to
you
my
catch on to
spine.
that.
Oh, man. Resurrection Sunday.
Resurrected. He was resurrected.
Wow.
So all this,
You know,
Oh man.
this is beautiful because, I mean, this is on My Money Matters Radio. You have never heard this anywhere else. Piecing together. I mean, you can visualize that meeting. This, I'm going to call it an encounter because it's so profound. And to have you, Brother Wahid, on our show to memorialize, this is going down in history. So you know, whenever you put something on the internet, it's in the cloud forever. That means forever. That means that our children, our children's children's, for generations to come, will have access to this history that you are sharing with us. You're giving us an inside view to the resurrection of the man in our midst. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is so beautiful.
Yes, indeed, man.
Education.
Because I always thought too that you came with, I just assumed that you came with Brother Jabril, but you were already there helping the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's much more to it, brother. And one thing I like to say is that each and every one of us have played a part in all of that.
Yes, sir.
So that's 40-some years ago. Okay.
Right.
And as I watch each one of you come into believers and laborers and all that.
Yes, sir.
They play a major part in all of that. And each one of us have a story to tell, like the Quran says. Each one of us is a book.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
We got to write our own book.
Yes, sir.
Because our generations to come have to have a history other
We
nations.
have to know.
Because
Yes, sir.
when the master was here, we didn't think of nothing but the master ever leaving, so we didn't write nothing. So we
Right.
we just listened. So, but that's not the way the principles of life goes. History is best qualified to reward our research. There's a spoken word, but there's also a written word.
Also the written. And speaking of the written word, I think that's a great segue. You have written a couple of books. So, yes. So please tell us about the books that you've written. The first one, what's the title of it?
Well, now, can you see it?
Yes, sir. Hold it up. Bring it a little bit closer. There we go. Yes, there we go. Okay.
Let me read the title to you, because the title is very important, and the book was dedicated to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, because what he said to us on a Day of Atonement, 2009 in Memphis, Tennessee. He's the one.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
He's the one that told us what we all about.
Attention patrons, the time is now 7:30 p.m. The library will be closing.
Oh, what time they close? 8 o'clock? How long y'all got? Sister Shereen hear us?
Yeah, I think they're waiting for that announcement to go off, and then they'll probably come back and tell us.
Right, I think they close at 8 o'clock.
Is it all right?
Go ahead.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay.
How much time do we have, Sister Shireen?
Probably about 20 minutes. But
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
let's make that 15. Sister Dr. Khalilah will come on at 6:45. 7:45, I mean.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, but very quickly. The title of the book is called Your Brain and the Nine Systems is Physioeconomics Knowledge of God's Self. Okay. Now
That's a heavy title right there, brother.
Yeah. But how I derived it?
Economics.
How I derived it that because the book was dedicated to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan from that speech he gave at the Day of Atonement in 2009, and I think the subject was take responsibility of building our own community.
Right.
That was the subject. But in that lecture, toward the end of it, he went all the way back to 78 trillion years ago and made a statement to verify where it was 78 trillion years ago. He brought us present tense, building our own community now. So he gave us a formula for doing that. Then he says when he at that particular time he equated the human body and the life cell as a lesson for economic development. Okay.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Okay. So what came to my mind of me and the brother that was doing this, his name was Rashid El Muhammad. Now Rashid El Muhammad, he has a great history. Also, he has about 25 or 30 books on Amazon about the Nation of Islam. But he's a what kind of writer? Creative writer. A lot of his real things too. But I don't know where he got the information from, especially when you talk about female stuff, because he's a brother. but he
insight. Okay.
And he's the one who wrote. He wrote a book. When he first met the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, he was 19 years old. He just came into the nation. In San Diego, California, him and Brother Harvey, Brother Jabril told him to set up a study group in San Diego. Well, the minister came to meet him. When Brother Harvey told him, Brother Rashid, his name was Anthony at that time, he said, you sit and talk to the minister at this restaurant, because I got to make this run and come back. So Rashid, he's a new brother. So he's sitting there with the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and he looked at him and he said, he didn't know what to say. So he said, he said, brother, he said, can you teach me all about Egypt? So Mr. Farrakhan said, he was taken aback. So he said, Mr. Farrakhan told him, he said, okay. He said, do you have it in the message, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's books? He said, yeah. He said, I got all the message books. He said, you go and study them, and then I'll come and tell you about Egypt.
There you go.
Okay. And so he followed instructions. He went and studied all the master's books. And then he started the Supreme Wisdom. He went back and wrote every word in the Supreme Wisdom. He did all that. In fact, when he came up with what we talking about, the 9 ministries and all that, each one of those ministries have a trade, have a education system they have to go through in order to get there, or to be professional in that particular business.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ology that goes with each one of those trades. So this particular book kind of deals with that statement about the brain and the 9 systems, and because it breaks down that. So I just want to I think it's very important if I read this one statement the Minister Farrakhan said, because since his program is dealing with the ministries,
Yes,
I think we have to deal with the foundation of the ministries and purpose of it, what it is, because lots of us don't understand that.
Go ahead.
So we been out for years, but most people don't even talk about that. But I'm gonna tell you what he says. He says, you have become toxic waste, and the people at the top are planning your destruction now as I speak. He said, the solution is to model the government after the human body, created in God's image. Then he goes on and said, another quote, if we study this magnificent body, we can relate all these 10 systems to 10 ministries with subgroups and task forces that will allow us the privilege of building our own community. Separation.
Okay. Oh, praise is due to Allah. There it is, right there. Now, Brother Wahid, how can we get a copy, purchase a copy, invest in a copy of that book? Those that are watching, how can we do that?
Oh, how can I get it?
Yes, sir.
You can go on Amazon and get it, or you can write us and we send it to you.
Okay, where do we need to write to? We whisper your name in the ethers and you will bring it to us.
No, you go online and say study 10 systems at gmail.com. Study
the number 10 or the word 10?
The number 10. The number 10.
Study 10 systems. Systems. Okay, study 10 systems at gmail.com. Leave you a message. What do you want in the email? You want name, telephone number?
Or the books?
Yes, sir.
Well, once you make the contact, then we'll put all the information on the email.
Gotcha. And send the email back to us.
We'll send it back to you.
Gotcha. Study 10 systems at gmail.com. I think, and I'm going to be very dogmatic when I say this, all of us that are engaged in the ministries need to invest in this book, because that quote is so appropriate. What you just read, Brother Wahid, that was a very appropriate quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And yes, a lot of us have forgotten about the 9 ministries. That is the reason why when Sister Shireen came to us 4.5 years ago, Sister Sandy and I, and said, let's do a radio show. And so we brainstormed on what we're going to talk about. So the 9 ministries.
That's right.
This is our part of doing our part of making sure that the 9 ministries stay in the forefront of us and our people. And
Praise
so
be
that
to
quote
Allah.
is very,
All
very
praise be to
appropriate.
Allah.
All praise to Allah. Thank you.
So
Thank
now
so
you know
much for
why
sharing.
we had to have Brother Wahid on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, and real quickly too, Brother Wahid, I know you were a member of you're a commissioner
Yes, sir.
of the group that the Honorable, what was it, 24 of you all?
36.
36 that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put together to study, what is the rededication and the restructuring?
Restructuring and reorganization.
Reorganization of the Nation of Islam. And I remember those meetings. And that was the first incarnation. And then in 2005, at the Millions More movement in Washington, D.C., where the minister brought in another 1 million+ people. Have you all noticed, just a quick side note, that every time the minister make a call to meet him in D.C., millions come?
Yes.
It wasn't just the 1 Million Man March. It was the 1 Million Man March. It was the Million Family March in 2000. It was the Millions More movement in 2005. And then 10-10-15 in 2015. Every time, over 1 million people showed up, the only person to do that. But you were part of that. You were part of, again, the seed of what we see now as the Nine Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
As a commissioner. What was that process like?
What did you say?
The process of being a commissioner of the reorganization and the restructuring Nation of Islam, which eventually led to the Nine Ministries. What was that process like?
It was a long, broad, drawn out process. And see, we in the lots of it don't understand. We're in the process of building an everlasting nation.
Come on now.
Okay. And on that particular meeting, just the idea that the commission was about the restructuring and the reorganization of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that somebody must have made a critical analysis of the nation at that point.
Yes, sir.
Which we need to make a critical analysis of ourselves as we relate to ourselves in the nation.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
So, but that particular meeting with Dr. Alim and Minister Farrakhan was the catalyst for that happening, and they took about 6 months or better for asking people to write in to see why they think they should be a part of that restructuring commission, and they selected 36 of us. But from that, the ministries came. I mean, that whole government structure came as a result of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember that. Yes.
And I think I think also it'd be good if we could use this, because ever since the minister been here for the last 40-some years, he brought all the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings forward.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And into from the Old Testament, the gospel, into the New Testament, Jesus.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, you can understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
Right.
So
Beautiful.
And so now we're living in the New Testament.
Yes,
Jesus
sir.
Testament, okay? So we don't need to bring ourselves.
Go ahead, brother minister.
Bring ourselves forward into all this.
Now. And he's leading us right into Dr. Khalilah, who will, because we have to teach the children how to bring this everlasting government into reality, and everything we teach them has to be about that, not what's going on now, not this world, but to bring them into knowing that they will be the ones who will work in this government that we have put together.
That's very, very important what you said, sister. And we have about a few more minutes. I'd like to take this opportunity to relate back to the subject of this particular meeting today. We deal with education.
Yes,
And
sir.
some of that I've written down as relates to what the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said in the introduction for the study guide.
Yes.
He said, I want to read it about education and how important it is. He said, at the root of every civilization is a knowledge, inherent in which is an idea that gives energy and directions to that knowledge. But if the idea at the root of this knowledge and civilization is finite, then the world that comes as a result of this knowledge is also finite and has an end. We're at that end now.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever education system you have, you can't use anything from this other education system.
Thank you. Say that again.
New educational system.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what the director was saying. We can't, in order to do that, this is something I'm just trying to say a few things I did write down. I want to say in particular, Mr. Farrakhan said, he said, a new educational paradigm for the 21st century. It's an education that will raise us up from a dead level and infuse us with a new mind, new spirit, and a new direction. Okay?
Attention patrons, the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are right now. So, I'm sorry at the end because Allah is the best knower. That means we got to had to do some more to add to it, to add to the restructuring, reorganization of where we are today. As the lesson says in our Supreme Wisdom, unless we're teaching the people from the past, present, future, perfect tense, we feel
right.
and dumb.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
And one last thing I want to say that about Minister Farrakhan and Brother Akbar. Brother Akbar had a tribute for him yesterday. Minister Farrakhan spoke there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I wanted to be there. But my wife, but both, because Akbar married us in St. Louis at that same place. But I couldn't be there. But anyway, what I would have said, some of the things the minister said, that I would have said about Brother Akbar is the most dedicated person to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, the God program is made for him. Just like the minister said that God made him for the messenger.
Right.
God made Akbar for Minister Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Farrakhan always tells us we always want to find our purpose. So I thankful to Allah that I found my purpose. I think Brother Akbar has found his purpose. I don't have no other purpose than to help the Honorable Elijah Muhammad fulfill that mission that God gave him. And following the Honorable Minister Farrakhan right now, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is, to me, I don't know if I should say that, but he is. He's
Look, he's gonna take us there, just leave us hanging like that.
Yeah.
Master storyteller.
I tell you what, before we close, I would like to say this about one other person that we all is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's wife.
Yes.
Mother Tanetta Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
It'll take about 30 seconds to say this.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
She says, we're standing on the threshold of another phase and cycle of our programmatic teachings from the Master. This new phase will focus on advanced training and re-education that will take us into new fields of knowledge with higher mathematical and scientific truths to be revealed in order that we, as students, can master our achievement and goal.
That's it right there.
That's it.
Master student. Yo, Brother Wahid, we thank you so much. We know the location you all are in is about to close, but Sister Shireen can give you the phone number so you all can listen. You can listen in. We have a scholar in our midst, and I'm sure Sister Shireen is going to readjust and come back in. But we thank you. We can thank you so much for those jewels that you have shared with us on Mind and Money Matters live show. And we know you're going to get like 100 emails before the night is over with from those, especially from Atlanta. Everybody in Atlanta should be hitting you with an email to invest in your book, because we definitely need it as we progress. We have a very progressive Nine Ministries in Atlanta, in the southern region. So I think that book will help us take it to the next level. So on behalf of Sister Sandy, Sister Shireen, and Sister Samia, we in Mind the Money Matters live show, we thank you. And please give your wife the greetings from us. I know she's sitting there right by you. Thank her for, for assisting us in this entire process.
So Zahid, I want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Let you know that you and Sister Serena has one of the books right now. She has her copy and she has your copy too.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. I will connect with you tomorrow to give you the remuneration for that knowledge.
It won't be. It's a gift.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
You do. and Sister.
Oh, praise.
Okay.
Sister Sandy.
Thank you, and thank Allah, and thank the Honorable Minister Farrakhan for blessing us to be here with him to help in this great cause.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Don't go nowhere, business scientists. Don't go nowhere. We have a scholar in our midst.
Yes, yes.
She's literally coming in from the other side of the world. So we want to thank her for the dedication. We tried to have her on before, but she's always so busy that things get blocked. But hey, that's what happens when you're productive. She is one of the nation's foremost scholars in the university system. You're gonna love her thesis. I know Sister Samia mentioned this author last week, and I didn't know that. Forgot that you were familiar with the works of our sister, Dr. Khalilah Muhammad, who is now hailing out of Chicago. She's working with Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad there with the study guides, the study group material, which is absolutely phenomenal how the study group sessions are going. Very quickly, for those of you who are not familiar with the study groups of the Nation of Islam, you are invited out every Friday night to your mosque and or study group in your area. The circle that we get in, the questions that are asked and answered, everybody participates. So you just got to experience it. You don't have to be a registered member of the Nation of Islam, but you got to experience that. And our sister, Dr. Khalilah, is a part of that team with Minister Ava and others to help make that experience a more grandiose experience. I see Sister Shireen is still around for a quick minute, so I'm sure she has something to say about one of her favorite sisters, Dr. Khalilah Muhammad.
Yes. I'm just excited just to have her back, to see her beautiful face. I'm so excited for this opportunity. And I just want to get right into it. You know, Sister Dr. Khalilah, she is an amazing testimony, you know, of someone who perseveres, who has gone through the fire. Like, you know, she has gone through the fire. She, someone who lost her mother at a young age, as a teenager, lost her dad in her very early 20s, and she has continued to make them proud, to keep her word, to make her word bond. And it took a village, and it takes a village. And so it's a beautiful testimony to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the womb that he has provided for us with sisterhood and brotherhood to care for us all. So I would just want to bring her in. We have just a few minutes to go. We already extended, but I want her to come on in and share with us, first the greetings, and then to to give us some of the wonderful things that she's working on. She is a published author of several articles and major publications. She's a professor of English, and she still doesn't mind splitting verbs every now and again, just to keep herself humble. Sister Dr. Khalilah Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. And I further bear witness that Allah came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and warner in our midst today. I would like to greet all of you in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu
Alaikum.
Alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Welcome back to America.
All praises due to Allah. I don't know if I'm going to sound as excited as you all sound. I'm a little bit jet lagged, but nonetheless, I still wanted to be able to be on the call, even just for a few moments.
We thank you for that.
Oh, all praises due to Allah. I just, earlier this morning, I arrived back from a 9-day experience with a group of sisters in the motherland, as some like to call it, Africa and Ghana. And one of my sister friends started a 501c3, and part of that 501c3 is called Grow Transformations, but part of that 501c3 includes a component that deals with education. So I went to a village in Kumasi, which is out about 4 hours away from Accra, and volunteered at a school in one of the villages in Kumasi. And the school is called the Hemang Primary School. And I donated supplies with some of the other sisters for whom I was with, and a brother. And then I also participated in the first primary graduation at this school, and I was the guest speaker. And then myself and some of the others who I travel with, we also sponsored a child apiece to get a new uniform and sandals in the upcoming school year. So it was a wonderful experience. I think the first thing, just very quickly, what I would say is, as a result of going to the Memorial Museum for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, all I thought about every day afterwards was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the life that Allah is allowing him to live. And I thought about what we learned about the first president of Ghana and what his life consisted of. And it just gave me an even greater appreciation, which I'm already out in the clouds in reference to being so grateful for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and to hear the life and the steps that the first president of Ghana made until he transitioned, made me fall in even deeper love and appreciation for the work that we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is doing across the entire world. And everywhere that I went, I spoke his name. And even within the few words that I shared in the graduation, afterwards, one of the historians said, "You love Farrakhan?" And I said, "Yes, he is my teacher." And he said, "I love him too."
Oh, praises due to Allah.
So it was I just kept thinking about him and what I know of his life, and what we know of that he shared with us publicly about his journey in fulfilling the mission of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I also was reflective of what the Black man experiences here and the Black woman in America, but to also see how in Ghana, in Kumasi, while they live in poverty, they live in a community that's their own.
Right.
And I just was reminded of the importance of having our own, and how they don't even, certain things, I'm sure they would like to have more finances to advance their community, but to see the peace and contentment that they had in just being in their own space and being amongst themselves and being able to go to their neighbors for things that they need and not having to go outside of their own community. And it just made me think of the tour that Sister Minister Dr. Ava is on, and the importance of separation. So while it was my first experience in Ghana, I took everything that I've learned and what is current in terms of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is teaching us, and his national representative and position as a national representative, and what his national spokesperson is speaking of. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know if you all have any specific questions, but that's on my mind.
Well, we appreciate you. We know that you're, as you say, you're jet lagged, so you left Ghana and had to fly into Ethiopia, and from Ethiopia back to the States.
Yes, sir.
Around the world in a day. That's all right. So we thank you for joining us. I just wanted to also mention, because Sister Samia mentioned, I think it was last week, she talked about, I think you say your favorite author, is it Sister Samia? Toni Morrison.
Yes.
Right, and Dr. Khalilah is a world's renowned expert on the writings of Toni Morrison. So
great minds.
I knew we were gonna have our own.
I don't know about a well-renowned expert, but I would say that I'm striving.
That's right.
Lift her name up.
Didn't you do a 400-page dissertation on Toni Morrison?
I did a single author dissertation on her. It was only some 100 pages. And
look at that. Only.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then I've written a few articles that have been published about her. But I feel like, I remember in watching her documentary recently, she said that it's called Pieces I Am. And she said in the documentary that people asked her, why isn't she protesting? Why isn't she picketing? In terms of what was going on with Black people during the 60s and the 70s. And she said that that's not where her work is. Mm-hmm. That her work is in writing and in editing. And that's where where she works out in the area of helping our people.
Right.
And I thought that was very profound. Mm-hmm. Because it's important for one to understand how Allah guides us and what our purposes are. And everyone is not necessarily going to be found expressing and working out in one particular area. And it doesn't make them a sellout, or it doesn't make them less committed because they may choose a different path that one may not understand. So when she shared that, I thought that was so powerful. Because we know that she, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, blessed is the man or woman who forges the way for others. And in learning more about Professor Toni Morrison, you learn from her role as an editor and as a writer that she was responsible for the publication and the writings of a lot of the foundational Black root scholars of our time. So when I hear her and I read about her, I always think about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I feel that in the arena for which she chooses, that she takes the Caucasian to task in regards to how we're treated across the globe.
Right. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for sharing that, because that's my sentiment. I think all of our sentiment as well. We each have a role to play. So, it's like a team. Everybody's not a center, basketball. Everybody's not a forward. Everybody's not a guard. Everybody on the court plays a specific role, and you play your role. So because someone is not doing what I think they should be doing, does not mean that they're not doing something. So we have to not be so judgmental and so myopic in our viewpoint about the bigger process. But Dr. Khalilah, we know that, again, we thank you. We know that you had
sir. Thank you.
Travel. And if you have contact information that you would like those who are listening, if they want to read some of your scholarly works, or they want to bring you in to speak at their conference or school. And which school are you teaching at now?
I teach for one of the city colleges of Chicago. It's called Olivet Harvey College. It's on the south side of Chicago. And I'm tenured, and I've been there for over 10 years.
Wow, wonderful.
But she also taught at MUI in Chicago. Don't leave that out.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That was how I arrived in Chicago. Yes, ma'am.
Gotta put that
That's
in.
where my heart is.
I know.
Scholar. So if you have contact information, Dr. Khalilah, you can please leave that for those who want to talk to you further.
Okay, yes, sir. My email address, this is my personal email, is tyri19@gmail.com. And my phone number is area code 404-273-5682.
Kept them Atlanta roots, huh?
Absolutely. Of course.
Fantastic. So we're gonna let you go and get some rest.
Okay, yes, sir.
I was hoping Sister Shireen came back on before we close out the broadcast. But before you go too, we have Bees Making Honey on the line, a great supporter of Master the Science of Business and Mind and Money Matters live show. One of the events that they're helping to promote this week is on Wednesday. If you're in Atlanta, you want to come out to Muhammad Mosque number 15 at 3642 Campbellton Road. 3642 Campbellton Road, Muhammad Mosque number 15. We have the feminine side of Allah. The feminine side. So we will hear from, it's a relationship series with Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, the student Southern Regional Representative, and his wife, Sister Sharifa Muhammad, will be the featured presenters this Wednesday. So we're inviting all of y'all to come out and join us at Muhammad Mosque number 15 on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Muhammad Mosque number 15, 3642 Campbellton Road in Atlanta to hear and ask questions. It's interactive. You'll be able to ask some questions as well. So want to make sure we got that in. Any closing words? We're gonna miss Sister Mia. This is the last. We've had her for 5 whole weeks.
They can continue to hear me Monday night, 7 p.m. on blackholeradio.com. And I'll continue my talk with it's called Mother's Milk.
And that's Black
Hole, WHOLE radio.
BLACK.
Right, WHOLE.
WHOLE. Okay. All right, fantastic. Every Monday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Right. So we'll be jumping off of here and going right into. So we have our Sister Shireen Muhammad back, and she can close us out. She has not been as loquacious
today
this evening as she usually is. So we'll give her the opportunity to close out.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much for a phenomenal show. May Allah continue to bless you. Hello, Akbar.
Really?
Yes, really. That's it. That's all I have to say. That's it. It is 8:12.
All right.
So we are thankful And, you know, I'm just looking forward to talking to my friend now.
All right. All right. Salam alaikum. See you next Monday, business scientists. Well, we go into the Ministry of Science and Technology. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Science and technology for the month of August.
I would turn this off. I'll leave. Okay.